Hello, my name's Andrew Baker. My topic is immigration and border protection. This is going to specifically relate to Texas as much as possible. Most of the statistics are going to be recent. Some of them go between like 2016 and 2020, I think is the oldest, but the um, general stats are going to be between Biden's beginning of Biden's term and now, so Trump's term, second term, um, and except for that one outlier, which I'll explain. Let's get into it. Okay, so I'm gonna outline the types of crossings so that we can better understand what's going on. So river crossings, and specifically in the case of Texas, this means crossing the Rio Grande. Most of the time they cross in the shallower parts that you can tread. Sometimes you do have to swim because it's a little deeper. In the deeper parts, when people do try to cross, it's obviously very dangerous. There's an undertow that can suck you below and drown you. Okay, this is a very common crossing in the state of Texas. Desert crossing. Um, this is where they obviously cross the desert, as the name would imply. This is mainly affecting western Texas, where the Rio Grande is either dried up or Eagle Pass. Like they kind of go through the New Mexico border a little bit and then cross over, like go laterally. Um, Very dangerous. A lot of heat exposure. Um, if you don't have food and water, you can be miles and miles out from the nearest town. Um, can be very, very dangerous for that reason. And then, so you're either looking to get hit once you cross the border, you are looking to hitchhike or reach a town, right? So a lot of walking, very dangerous here. Boat crossings, much less common in Texas, because the Gulf of Mexico is a very large body of water. It's more common in states like Florida, where it's not as hard to go from Cuba to Florida, obviously. But it does happen. But most of the boat encounters, sorry, in Texas occur on the Rio Grande with like a small raft, um, just to float across versus swimming on those deeper parts to avoid drowning. Um, we'll there, we've done some stuff that will affect that. We'll talk about it later. Okay, so moral aspect, right? So the format of this presentation, immigration is a very fluid topic, I guess. Like a lot of the stats can be debated, right? Because it affects some areas different than others, some cities different than others, um, and some like obviously communities different. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, some of the pros are applicable in some areas and not in others, which would then mean cons work the same way. Um, but I'll try to generally give you the overview, pros and cons of immigration. This is mainly going to focus on illegal, obviously. Legal immigration doesn't really have this debate going around it with pros and cons. Okay, so here we go. So, the main argument that illegal aliens should stay in the United States is basically general human empathy. That these are people from poor, underdeveloped, corrupt countries. They, they don't come from money. They don't really see a future in the country that they're at. Maybe they're facing a little bit of danger. I'm not going to focus on asylum because that's obviously legal, but if you lose your house or you're facing some threat that maybe wouldn't quite classify itself as asylum, but yet you still want to flee to the United States, there's that. And then obviously the main one, which is money and opportunity. A lot of countries have a lot less opportunity than we do here in the U.S. So we're very lucky, and a lot of people want that for themselves and their family and their children. And I think it's very understandable. I think a lot of people can understand that want. The cons generally boil down to assimilation, crime, social programs, and precedent. Precedent has a little bit of an asterisk on it, but um, so assimilation. Basically, there are small towns on the border that, when there's a large surge of migrants, can really get overrun, and this does tie into social programs. Um, and they're not ready for it. And then if a lot of people stay, it can really shift the community a lot, especially, and these people didn't sign up for it. These illegal aliens are committing a crime. So the argument there is they're committing a crime. You're letting them stay here. You're letting them drain our resources. That's not right. Okay, that's the con. And it has to do with like they could drain food pantries. They could drain EMT, something simple as EMT or policing has to increase in an area. Um, some people just don't like migrants. They see them as dirty, which I mean, yeah, it's racist, but it is an argument, right? Or that they're going to end up as homeless people and just wander the streets, and they're not going to get a job, and again, just drain, drain, drain on the economy and not pay into it, not pay taxes. Um, there's also the general thought that illegal aliens can be dangerous, that they're either working for a terror organization, a foreign government, a cartel, a gang, and that they're gonna like come to the community and kill people and sell drugs and cause issues basically. And there's this again. That's why this is difficult, is because there's a lot of statistics that go into those arguments, right? So I can't show all of them here, but I will be talking about that later. Okay, the general statistics. Okay, so right, what we have here, this chart. This is because then there's the precedent, right? This is the chart I'm talking about. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite go as far as I would like, but it gives you a general idea. So basically, what you see here is migrant deaths in over 20 years, right? So you've here, this is going to be Obama, the start of Obama, then it goes down, and second Obama's down here, or second Obama's what, 2008, so he's like right here, and he's here, and then Obama, and then also Obama, and then you get Trump here in 2016. So it spiked, and then it shot drastically down at the ends of Obama, and then these are our deaths, and then yeah. So but the flow of migrants kind of follows the similar um train here. Um, so, and obviously this I can't, I don't have the graph unfortunately, but the number goes much higher because over the Biden administration, border crossings were up substantially, way above historic numbers. So deaths obviously increased, and there's also some external factors, we'll call it, that led to more deaths. We'll talk about it. And so here's the thing with the precedent. Well, this is simply the moral aspect of precedent. So these migrants, in a lot of cases, are paying all their money, a lot of money, whatever, to get shuttled by cartels or people, coyotes is what they're referred to as, to the United States, right? And there's danger in that, right? If a little girl is trying to come, they could end up getting trafficked and never making it to the U.S. And you're also just giving money to cartels, which is bad. It's dangerous. And then there's also the precedent that if people are dying, right? And again, we'll get into, there's some things Texas has done to increase that number. We'll talk about it. People are dying to cross this border, and they're going across the Darien Gap in South America, and they're risking their lives to get here, right? People are dying to get here, like dying on the way here. Is it moral to set the precedent that it's come, we'll give you asylum, we'll give you healthcare, or not healthcare, like housing, and we'll take care of you, and you can eat out of the food pantries and stuff, and then until you get a job, and then welcome to the land of opportunity, basically, right? Is it moral to set the precedent that if you come across, you get to stay, if people are dying to get here, dying to cross all these borders and everything, and interact with these dangerous people? Is that moral? Is that moral? And that's why it's a pro con, right? Is it worth, is telling people that worth allowing them to come in and stay here if they do get here? Is the pro is like, okay, you let them stay, they work and all the other stuff, and then the con is that they're dying, right? So telling them to not come is important. Public support. This is specifically in Texas. So this is by University of Houston. 64% of Texans believe illegal migrants should earn a way to stay, and 36% say they should just be deported. So, really important point here. This means there should be a way to stay, and the parentheses there says if requirements. So, basically, this isn't just saying every migrant should be able to stay. This is simply saying that it's kind of just an acknowledgement that the immigration system is broken, it's backlogged, it sucks. and that there should be a better alternative for people, and that should come before deporting them, right? They should be able to stay here while they're fulfilling that, whether it be income or owning a house, or they've lived here for a certain amount of years, right? Whatever requirement is set, that should be, if that's met, they should be allowed to stay. And obviously this would imply that it's a reasonable requirement, right? They shouldn't have 5 million in the bank account. That's stupid. That's a dumb requirement to stay here. And then 36 is saying, nope, no matter what, if they came here illegally, they're deported. They can come and go through the system we already have and apply for citizenship that way. So that's that public support. So very pro immigration. There you go, basically. Pros and cons of illegal migrants. So like this ties into the downsides of they're dangerous and they don't assimilate, and they cause problems and they kill people and rob. So the National Institute of Justice, which is a subsidiary of the Department of Justice, the DOJ, did a study, and illegal immigrants are half as likely to be arrested as U.S. citizens, and a quarter as likely to be arrested for violent and drug crimes. So murder, drug trafficking, drug dealers. They are a quarter as likely, 25%. And for big one, they're murder. So that kind of that's the pro is they're not killing people, robbing people, at least not as much as our own citizens. And the con would be that people are saying that these statistics are wrong or they're skewed by stuff like sanctuary cities and like DAs that don't prosecute. I don't know how valid that is, since these are arrests, not convictions, but it's debatable to an extent, right? Here, so this, I kind of add this in. So this has to do with people saying that immigrants are a drain on the workforce. So there isn't a number saying that this percent of illegal immigrants is employed, obviously, but there are statistics on percents of major like areas of the Texas economy, and the percent of immigrants or immigrants that work there, right? So, and this ties into like they do jobs that citizens don't want to do, like agriculture. I remember that the strawberry industry was very much going to suffer because 25% of the people in the blazing Texas sun picking strawberries are illegal immigrants. I'm a citizen. I don't want to do that. That sucks, right? But these people, they want to be in America so bad, and they want to do well and be good people. Quarter of them doing one of the probably most miserable jobs, right? Right here, manufacturing. 27. I mean, some of these include documented, but 27% manufacturing. Again, hard labor job, sweaty, manufacturing factory, chemical plant. They're there. They're working. So this doesn't give you the exact number, but if a quarter of the agricultural industry in Texas, which is a very big industry, it's Texas, are illegal immigrants, they wouldn't be taking those jobs if they were lazy and here to live off Social Security and drain our social programs. They wouldn't be taking these hard jobs. So it kind of gives you an idea. So the pro for this would be they aren't just sitting there and draining the social programs. And the con would be, okay, maybe not for Texas, but in California or Florida or something, or in Alabama, Missouri, who knows, they are, right? And in some cities they are, right? In some cities they have a large immigrant population who isn't working, right? And so they are being a drain on social programs, right? And they can be. So that's why it's such a two-faced pro-con, because yes, in some places it is, no, in some places it's not. So there you go. So, but yeah, I would say in the context of Texas, they are not the pro. They are working and they are taking jobs that need to be done that nobody wants to do. So, and then finally here, I wanted to give more of like some synopsis of Texas's stance on immigration. So we have always been very anti-immigration, illegal immigration, and so in 2023, 2024, Greg Abbott was signing a slew of executive orders to protect our sovereignty or protect the state sovereignty. You know, people start talking about sovereignty, it's never good, or it's never going to be good for really anybody. And he put these buoys in the Rio Grande, and it led to a lot of people drowning, right? Because they're desperate. They want to get in the U.S. These buoys don't look particularly dangerous. They do rotate, which is the issue. So this man right here is learning that. The thing's gonna rotate on him, and you can get sucked under this thing. You can get sucked under the buoy, and you will drown. And people did drown. And so you could say that for back to the migrant death chart and the pro cons of precedent. Um, you might be influencing those charts a little bit by setting up these drowning buoys and killing people, right? If these weren't here, these people wouldn't die. It would be less dangerous to cross the border, right? But then on the con, oh, are we just gonna have open borders, right? Nobody wants that. Because if you don't have, if you literally don't have borders, you aren't sovereign. Like you don't have anything. It's not gonna happen. Okay, the U.S. is never going to abolish their border or border wall or border protections. Um, so yeah, Texas is staunchly anti-immigration. Well, the government has been, and they've done stuff, passed stuff that is very anti-immigration. And here's your proof. Greg Abbott's Rio Grande buoys, and they also did stuff like barbed wire, and I think there was a whole scandal with a horse and whipping people. Um, I'm not gonna get into the politics here, but yeah, and there's stuff like cruelty to migrants via cops, whether that be state troopers or border patrol, which it would be national, so it wouldn't affect this presentation. And then here are my citations. So while this is here, I am going to give a general pro con, right? So the pros of immigration is that they are taking not taking, they are getting jobs that need to be worked, that citizens have a very low like want to work them. They pay taxes, a lot of taxes. They are a large portion of the Texas economy slash workforce as a result of that. Um, and general empathy, right? This is the land of opportunity. We should be giving people who are underprivileged opportunities to make their lives better, right? Cons, they can commit a lot of crimes, they can kill people, and when it happens, it's very tragic, because that person shouldn't have been here. They're violent, and that's a con of illegal immigration. They're not being screened. Their background isn't checked. So dangerous people are crossing the border and hurting Americans as a result. Okay, they can be a drain on cities, right? They obviously can become homeless. They can stoop into gang life potentially, right? Is it happening at the rate of U.S. citizens? No, but when you're dealing with a topic where these people technically, legally should not be here at all, then any amount of gang violence or murder or robbery or anything like that is something that you can say should never have happened because they never should have been here, right? You can make that point, and it's a valid point. And then after that, any amount of drain on any social system, um, you can say the same thing. These people shouldn't be here. They shouldn't, you know, it all kind of comes back to background checks, and we don't know who these people are. We don't know where they come from. We don't know anything about them. If they've been arrested in their previous country, if they're violent, and that scares a lot of people, and it can cause a lot of problems when those violent people do things horrific like murder, um, and rape and other horrific things. So yeah, and then Texas as a state has been very anti illegal immigration, setting up buoys, razor wire, and passing laws such as allowing city and county and state troopers, police officers, to greatly work and intertwine with ICE. And from that, you can get deported from a simple traffic stop of a city cop, and you get detained and held, and Texas will then pass you to immigration, and you'll be deported. Um, so yeah, that's my presentation.